Welcome back to Entropia. This is Sturge coming to you from the Hideout. The Hideout with specific instructions not to talk about the Hideout. This is episode 7 of the Beginner's Crafting Guide here in the Entropia universe. And today I want to cover something that has been brought up over time in the comments, both on forums and in the comment section for these videos, and other places as well, in-game, and other avatars have asked me, Sturge, why didn't you talk about skilling on a mothership? Or why haven't you talked about chipping in? Or why haven't you talked about alternative ways to gain skills, crafting, manufacturing the Entropia universe? So that's what this video is about. It is all about the other ways there are to do it, and I'm going to do a comparison and cost comparison with the best knowledge that I have. And a lot of people, I'm really hoping this will stir up some comments, because I don't know this. There isn't really up-to-date 2020 plus, year 2020, 2022 information on this. What does it cost to skill on a mothership? What does it cost to chip in? And how do you do that? And I do want to look very closely at the skill trees and to look at the professions themselves and say, this profession requires these skills at these percentages. We did this before in video 3, but I think it behooves me to revisit this and hit it in depth so that you can say, man, that's how I'm going to gain skills. And that's and now I can mix and match and do whatever I want, and I'm going to get to where I need to be quickly, so I'm not losing as much PED crafting manufacturing in the Entropia universe. So here, I'm going to start at Chug's. First rule of Chug's Hideout: you do not talk about Chug's Hideout. And if you have never been to Chug's Hideout, you should definitely get this location, get the teleporter, because it's a cool location. I find that there are a lot of very senior players, avatars, here crafting manufacturing. Remember, in the past videos I've said the way to do this is to go to places where people are globaling, and you'll find some pretty senior people hanging out here, and they're crafting and globaling here. It's one of those weird spots, but you gotta find it. This isn't one of those starter locations. Alright, Sturge, stop screwing around. Let's cut to the chase here. The most important skill that needs to be unlocked for you to progress quickly in your manufacturing crafting experience is the construction skill Blueprint Comprehension. And that is unlocked at the profession level of 10 of any of the 19 professions you see here in the tree. Any skill that affects 19 different professions is really going to be useful down the road. Look at this. There's armor engineer, BLP engineer, carpenter, interestingly enough, electronics engineer, Gauss weapons engineer, long blade. We've got metal engineer, plasma, projectiles, tool engineer, vehicle structural engineer. How many of these skills are going to be important down the road? It depends on what you want to do, and that's why I'm highlighting this. So which one of these professions is going to allow you to unlock the skill Blueprint Comprehension the fastest? And I think that is mechanical engineer. And the reason I say that is because the available mission DSEC still waiting on supplies on Monria gets you there very quickly. And I want to show you that as an example, and then I'll go into my reasoning, and we'll go into cost and all that after. First, let me give credit to Jesus de Gregorio, who created the chipping optimizer tool in 2007, the one we're going to use today. And I'm going to put the link down in the description so that you can use this tool as well. I'm going to actually give the link to the Planet Calypso forums, and then the link to the tool as well. And then I'm going to show you how this tool is used to calculate from your skill level the number of points that you have in a particular skill. And in this case, I'm going to use engineering because of the DSEC still waiting on supplies mission on Monria and the 75 pack of engineering reward. I'm going to use that to show you how many days it would take to get you to the engineering skill level, where that skill level contribution towards mechanical engineer is going to help you get to unlocking the Blueprint Comprehension skill. And that's kind of tricky, but it's really doable using this tool, and that's the reason I'm going to highlight this. So let's take a quick look at the tool here. the chipping optimizer tool that's been around for so long. And its interface is pretty simple. You'll note there are 4 tabs: chip prices, calculator, preferences, professions, and so forth. I'm on the professions tab. We're going to use that in a little bit. You can click on instructions, click to hide, click to show, and familiarize yourself with those instructions as well. For many of you who need that help, it is there. I'm going to click on calculator, and I'm going to remind you that in episode 2, what were the rewards of the series of DSEC still waiting on supplies missions. So the 4 missions, the 3 to get there and the 4th mission, would yield you 96 PEC in engineering skills. If you started at level 1, that would give you 454 skill level points, basically. And so if we look at the skill tree here and the skill ranks, on the Entropia wiki, that puts us a little bit above novice. In fact, considering that we will have crafted so many, over 600 successes, we'll definitely be over 460 points. And so we'll be at the amateur level in skill ranks based on our number of skill points. That's pretty impressive. Go to Monria, start at level 1, do 4 missions, get 96 PEC in engineering skill as a reward, and you'll be at the amateur level, which is the 10th skill rank of the 52 skill ranks available. And then come back, pick up the mission, D6 still waiting on supplies, and do it again. And that's all I'm going to do here is calculate from the 454 skill points we got, so to speak, from level 1 to level 10, and then add another day on top of that. So add another 75 PEC of engineering skill after repeating the mission again. And let's see what that looks like. So we click go, and we add ourselves another 162 points. So from 454 to 616. Now, that number is going to shrink as we do more days, as you will see, but sometimes it'll get larger, sometimes it'll get less. But now we're at 834, so we add 834, same thing, see 973, so down a little bit. 973 will, 937, so I screwed that one up. 1044, there we go, 1044 to 1167. And what you're going to see here, and what I'm aiming for, is getting more than 1,530 skill points. And that's going to take you, when we're finished with this calculation as I'm going through it, it's going to take you 9 days, roughly 9 days. Now mind, you're going to be getting a lot of engineering skill as you go along, but the most important part is it's probably 8 to 9 days to get to 1,572. Or really, we want to get to 1,530 engineering skill points, and then we're going to take 30% of that, and then that number we're going to apply to the mechanical engineering profession and how that helps us change that profession and get us to level 10. So we can see right here, profession, mechanical engineer. As soon as that profession reaches level 10, rank 10, it will unlock Blueprint Comprehension Skill. And the only way we're going to get there is to use the contributing skills that we see right here in the table. First off, the attribute intelligence contributes about 2%, or at least in the table it does. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail on that in a minute, but what's more important is the other 3 unlocked skills that contribute, and that's manufacture, mechanical equipment, engineering, and mechanics. And that's 34% contribution, 30% contribution, and 13% contribution, respectively. So only 4 of the, so 3 skills and 1 attribute can contribute to the mechanical engineer profession level until we unlock Blueprint Comprehension. And then we're going to get an extra 11% contribution. And so that has to all add up to basically the profession level of 10. So let's go back to the skill ranks table, and this is skill ranks versus profession table. And what's important about this is the profession level of 10 is qualified, but that's the 13th entry in the table. The 13th entry is qualified, and that is the profession level of 10. And the thing you can note from the table as it goes down, the professional level is always 1% of the skill level points. That's all there is to it. It's actually a pretty straightforward table, and then that helps us figure out, if we needed to, the equation that will give us that tool, the skill optimizer tool that you saw earlier. But we know that qualified is level 10 in the profession that we want, which is mechanical engineering. As mentioned earlier, we were looking at how intelligence, the intelligence attribute, and the percentage, which is 2%, affects the profession of mechanical engineering. Right here at the professions versus skill table, right at the top, it says that actually attributes can contribute 20 times what the number is toward that profession. So in the case of mechanical engineering, it says 2 for the attribute intelligence. That needs to be multiplied by 20. In the end, it actually turns out it's not a very large contribution, sadly. So let's come up with an equation where the number of points of manufacturing mechanical equipment and science engineering contribute the bulk or all of the points we need to get to professional level of 10 for mechanical engineer. And this is my equation. You'll note earlier when I was showing the D6 still waiting on supplies mission, and it would take you 9 days to get to roughly 8 to 9 days to get to 1,530 points. That's a 30% of those points will contribute to the 1,000 points you need to be professional level 10. Manufacture mechanical equipment, you need maybe 1,600 points, or any iteration of those two. It doesn't really matter. You just have to decide which one you want to go for first. But since there's a mission to give you engineering skill, it seems like that's a pretty good one to go for, and that you could do that over time, and you can kind of guarantee that you're going to get that skill and that contribution. But I proved it to myself just writing numbers down on a piece of paper, but you can actually use the calculator to do this too. And that's really what I'm getting after here, is this chipping optimizer calculator really saves you a ton of time. If you select the professions tab here, and then you can select a profession, like mechanical engineer is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to select the mechanical engineer profession, and I'm going to go after that. And it's going to populate this list for me. We've already seen it on the wiki of all the contributing skills. But now what I want to show you is you can pick and choose. You can check the boxes and say, no, I only want these particular skills to affect the profession level, and have those points affect the profession level. And some of those are locked, so there's no choice anyway. You would uncheck those boxes. And that's the whole plan here, and how to get this done. And then you can utilize this tool in any profession. And that is the key. So maybe this video is about crafting and using it to further your efforts in crafting. But I think there's more to it than that. I think you can use this in hunting, or you can use it in mining, or whatever the case may be. Okay, so quickly, let's populate this. Engineering, 1,530 like we talked about earlier, and manufacture mechanical equipment, 1,600. And you see their level, profession level, and mechanical engineer is 1,003 points. My back-of-the-envelope calculation, which helped me prove it to myself before using this calculator, works. So at least the information is consistent in the optimizer as well as on the wiki page. We can do these on our own. We can just do it in a Excel spreadsheet, or you could just use the optimizer and save yourself some time. But remember, as we saw earlier in video 1-2, Explosive Projectiles 1 Blueprint seems to be the best blueprint to grind, right, for return and for overall skill gain if you're low level. So let's look at what the Explosive Projectiles 1 Blueprint is going to cost at this particular time. So this is February 2022. I don't know what that blueprint is going to cost down the road. And so if we organize sales for Explosive Projectiles 1 Blueprint, we can see here, look, here's the 72 PEC quality rating for 112 PED. Oh, wow, that's expensive, and that's not even a full 100 quality rating. And then we've got another one down here, 62 PEC, and somebody wants 127 for it, buyout. And then 133, 134, 130. Wow, these are really, really expensive blueprints to start. And then you have to put on top of that the cost of starting at level 1, mechanical engineer, to get that engineering skill from the daily DSEC still waiting on supplies mission. Hey, man, the cost, I think, is tremendous. But you could say, well, I can justify this, right? I can say I'll buy 100 plus ped blueprint and then gain the skill and then not worry about unlocking blueprint comprehension. But let's be clear, if you're starting at level 1 engineering skill at all, from the beginning, you're gonna to get 500 successes for the daily DSEC still waiting on supplies mission with a 100 quality rating blueprint. You're gonna run 60 ped, at least for the first few days, to get 500 successes, because you have no skill. And so at some point you have to say, justify that. And I think if you're starting out very, very early and you don't have a lot of ped, EP1 turns out to be a bad option. It's really expensive. When I say 60 ped, you buy the blueprint for 100, 30 ped, and then 60 ped a day with maybe 75 to 80% return turns into, well, actually, it's going to cost you 500 ped to get to level 10 easy. Now, the most comments and suggestions I get for this particular series and how to skill up those skills that will get you to mechanical engineer or vehicle structural engineer or whatever you need to unlock blueprint comprehension is skilling on a mothership. Here's an Arcadia post by Happy Hipster in 2013 that probably has some of the oldest good beginning information, and it's really quite comprehensive. If a little bit of it's outdated, that's okay. It's a good place to start. Certainly there are other places to start, but it indicates how old the information is, that we don't really have any current 2020 plus years, 2021, 2022. We don't have any guides like this that are updated. That's why I'm making this video, because there needs to be some sort of update to this skill, this skilling on the mothership, and what it's going to cost you and the viability. So I think definitely go check out this post. The link will be down in the description. But also, I want to look at the relevant facts, and don't worry about the links. Some of those links are dead. But up here under relevant facts, it's talking about the RK5 vehicle repair tool. And I think most avatars who are just starting out, who want to learn to skill on a mothership, are going to be too low of level to be using the RK5. You're going to use the RK0. And I'm going to go into detail, a little bit of detail on the cost of that. Not too much to make this video too long, but I want you to see that some of this information is a bit outdated. But let's do a search and find out if there's relevant new information. So I do a quick search on the Planet Calypso forums for skilling on a mothership, because I need that information. I think this is the place to come and get it. And as you scroll down and looking through the entries, you're just not seeing much in the way of anything saying specifically skilling on a mothership, until you get down here to Victory Mothership Repair Skilling. And this is a message by Geo. And I want to highlight that a little bit, because that is the closest to timely information as we're going to get. So I reached out to a bunch of the mothership owners, and Geo of the Victory Society is the only one who responded. And I really appreciate that. That's why I'm highlighting that here. There are mothership owners out there who are actively accepting skilling applications, but the most important thing really comes down to reading the rules of each and every mothership and knowing in detail the rules and expectations and requirements and so forth that you need to meet to begin with before being allowed on a mothership to utilize their skilling service. There may be a cost. Some mothership owners may have a cost associated with it, a donation associated with it. Others may allow you to come on for free, but you and you have to buy certain things from them or use their warp service or whatever the case may be. But let's be very clear. This is not an avenue for piracy, and I think that's the overall reason that so many of these other Mothership owners didn't want me to highlight their service, is because they're concerned about pirates, they're concerned about rule breakers, they're concerned about scammers. And, boy, I don't think for a second that they're not going to spot you coming. But if that's your goal, if your whole goal is to get on one of these motherships and do space piracy, think again. And it's not going to be allowed, and you're going to be blackballed by the community. But if skilling on a mothership is what you want to do, go for it. There's one thing I have to say. Make sure you know the rules before you contact, specifically Geo or any other mothership owner. You better know the rules. That's the most important thing. And you better be able to follow those rules and the requirements. And the other thing is, you're not going to have anything but skills and debt to show for it after you skill on a mothership. Sadly, it's because you're not making anything. You're not actually crafting anything. You're not actually manufacturing. You're just gaining a lot of skills. And the diversity of those skills may be why skilling on a mothership is so worth it. It's because you're not just getting one skill. You're getting, 12 different skills. And I don't know what those are. And I don't know that anyone has made a video showing exactly what skills you get, because it takes time to make videos, as we all know. It takes me a lot of time to make videos like this one in particular. But you're going to gain a lot of skills. You just won't have anything to sell after it. So again, thank you, Geo, for letting me highlight the Victory Society and Mothership and the opportunities for skilling and transport. So now let's look at the cost that that's going to be associated with buying the RK0, and as well as buying welding wire from the auction house. You might be able to buy these from other avatars, certainly on board the motherships. You may be able to buy them in shops, wherever those locations are, that we can at least get a price here for the vehicle RK0. And it looks like 128% markup is pretty standard here. 122 to 130, so 9 ped. Each RK0 is going to cost you about 9 ped. If you look here, there's a bunch of them at 114% with a single bid in there. Maybe you can get it for 8 ped. Who knows? These things have a 7 ped base value, so keep that in mind. And it's not going to take you just one of them. It's going to take you quite a few RK0s to get, depending on your skill level, to get to where you want to go to unlock the Blueprint Comprehension Skill. So let's look at the welding wire really quickly. Welding wire coming in at 118 to 133% markup. So anywhere in that neighborhood. You can wait, be patient to buy it, or you can buy it. You can do the buyout. Probably if you're wanting to get at this quickly, you're going to want to buy it out quickly. But let's look at the 270,000 that are available here at 36 ped. That right there is enough to get you 270,000 welding wires, enough to get you 18 hours worth of skilling with an RK0, the 6,543 uses of an RK0 at 8 units per each, click. That's enough to get you a little more than 18 hours. And it's a little more than 5, so call it 6 RK0s to utilize the entirety of that welding wire, which is about 90 ped. So is 18 hours worth of skilling on a mothership enough to help you unlock the Blueprint Comprehension Skill based on all of the other skills that you get, and to get you level 10 in one of the 19 professions we were talking about? Vehicle Structural Engineer would probably be the closest one for this particular utilization, with the RK0 and mothership skilling. And I don't think that's it. I think 18 is, depending on where you start, if you start at level 1, absolutely not. Everything that I have gleaned from all of the posts that I have read, and just scanning through all the Planet Calypso forum posts and replies and so forth, is it's going to take you about 3 times that amount. So anywhere from 300 to 500 ped to open the unlock the Blueprint Comprehension Skill, skilling on a mothership. Now, if somebody else has better data and was willing to make a video about this or forum post, get after it. But sadly, that's the best I can do with the information that I've been given and able to discover on the forums, talking to other avatars, and it may be different now, and it may be different for you based on your skill level and your ped card. So anywhere from 300 to 500 ped, I anticipate for Mothership skilling to help you unlock the Blueprint Comprehension Skill. But the fastest way to get there to unlocking your Blueprint Comprehension Skill and level 10 in one of those 19 professions is really just to chip in. So you come to the auction house, going down into items, skill implants, category, and then I just happen to choose science because there's a lot of stuff here, specifically the engineering skill implants, and there are always lots of them, and so you can kind of use this as a way to figure out what it would cost you to chip in. And I only recommend chipping in at very low levels. At higher levels, you might as well grind it out because chipping in gets so expensive so quickly. But at low levels, you can get a lot of skill very quickly by using the chip-in system. But we can see there are 3 pages here under science. Really and truly, only the first page is really relevant because the rest of it's just analysis, biology, zoology. There's some deep space knowledge skill implant for 932 ped. Don't need that one. We would like to look actually at the engineering skills. And one of the things I want to point out is that it's going to be expensive to do this. So for the sake of argument, let's say you only want the engineering skill to be the contributing skill for your points to unlock the Blueprint Comprehension Skill, which gives you Mechanical Engineer of level 10, and you would need the equivalent of a 39 ped engineering skill implant, which gives you 3,338 points. 30% contribution is 1,001. And there you are. And whatever the cost of that may be, if you go through here and just kind of do some add up and say, okay, I'm going to add one of these 1390s and this 1295 and this 1322, and not this mechanic skill implant, which you could possibly get a mechanic skill implant for 990 ped. Yeah, it would open up instantly if you've got 990 ped. But if you just take those 1390, the 1295, and the 1322 engineering skill implants, buy all of those, it's going to cost you 672 ped to do it. So you may want to mix and match and say, I want to pay a little less. And then you've got to look at the markups. And engineering skill markup is low. It's staggeringly low, actually, when you look at some of the other things, like mechanics has, 1,900, botany's over 2,700, animal taming skill, which would be a great implant, 2,900% markup. So the markup for engineering skill implants is low. So you could mix and match and get in today for 672 ped or a little bit more than that, if that's where you want to go. Or over time, you can just say, oh, I don't have a lot of mechanics skill, so I'll buy that 95 pec mechanics skill implant at whatever 20-some 4 ped it is, and that's going to help me. And then I'm going to see a manufacturing mechanical equipment skill implant. I'm going to buy that, and I'm just going to use another engineering skill plant and just kind of mix and match and work your way up. But one way or another, it's going to cost you 500 ped at least just to chip in. So there you have it. Lots of information. Took a long time to get there. I apologize for a long video, but there's so much to talk about that's relevant to this topic, and that there isn't any other modern information regarding this topic that I think is really important. We need new version update information, and before Unreal Engine 5 drops, we definitely need to be prepared because some changes may occur once Unreal Engine takes over. Hopefully the algorithm won't change, but we never know. But I think you can see from all this that it's going to cost you at least 400 ped from level 1 if you do it on the cheap, and as much as 700 ped if you want to do it today, instantaneously, and unlock the Blueprint Comprehension Skill, whichever you choose. And I think you should choose to mix and match all of these things, especially the Mothership skilling. I think all the skills you get from training on a Mothership are going to be much more rewarding much further down the road. But whatever you choose, I think the mix and match is probably the best option, and utilize the missions that are already in place to get some skill up early. And then once you have some ped to work with and some understanding of the game, if you're really new to the game, then you can do all kinds of other things. Fly to different planets, go on a Mothership, whatever you like. Let's wrap this up. I thank everyone for watching this series as well as this video, and please leave some comments down in the comments section, and leave me a like and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and you like this video. This is Sturge, signing off. Ciao.